everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here today. I am just working on doing some paint overs on text for my haunted doll journal that I'm planning to make soon. And I think I'm also starting this series today that I've been thinking about forever and ever and had not really had a lot of time to plan for, but I would like to talk a little bit about it today. I think I want to run this series on Sundays on my channel and probably call it Sunday Shares or something like that. I'll see if I can come up with anything a little more clever. I'm not sure. But what I essentially want to do is kind of give rebirth to my weekly wrap-up series that I used to do quite some time ago, where I just kind of recapped all the creative stuff that I did in a week. It could be, things that are journal related. It could be a preview of yarn that I've spun, or other things that I've gotten up to, maybe some thrifty stuff, maybe some found things if I go foraging, or if I hear about something or whatever, right? So I think I want to start doing that again because honestly I miss it. It gave me a sense of a weekly wrap up. I'm sharing all my stuff with you that has been going on. It's a good connective video to my community here. So that being said, I want to probably try to add another element to it, which is again along the lines of community and sharing. So I've had several times now different digital creators or different brands reach out to me to talk to me about doing a collaboration or a promotion or something like that. And from time to time I do them. I try not to be attached a whole lot to any particular brands, though there are some that I really do quite like Your Creative Studio. So that being said, what I would like to do is, if in fact you are, a digital creator or you're a creative business of any kind that, it falls in the vein of what I do here, and you would like to collaborate on something, or you want me to talk about, what you're doing, what your product is to my community here, I would be totally up for that. So I'm going to leave details in the description box below about how to contact me for those kind of collaboration inquiries. Now, all of that being said, I don't only want to push, not push products, but promote products, right? I think the thing about product promotion and how to do it in a sound way that's not just a giant ad is if it's something, first of all, that's relevant to your community and to you, and it's actually something that you like and you've had a good experience with. I know a lot of times when I post videos, I get messages about the products that I'm using and that sort of thing, and that's not a business running an ad on you, right? You're unaware of what's being said, you feel compelled to buy, that kind of thing. I mean, the compelling to buy kind of thing can happen, I think, in a lot of ways. Sometimes I think about the ethics of thrift haul videos because I know they make me want to thrift more, and even when I shouldn't, and I'm oh, I don't want to make other people thrift when they shouldn't. But at the end of the day, right, I think it does a couple things. It also kind of brings a lot of joy and fun because it's treasure hunting. And I know that the personalities that are like me, we're magpies and we love to see historical things and that kind of thing. So I'm not going to kind of obsess over it, which, I do kind of worry about things excessively sometimes. So the other thing that I want to invite here to this channel is about other ways to promote you and promote one another as indie designers, indie artists, smaller YouTube creators, as well as local things, local businesses, related businesses. So hold on. I'm just going to get this box that I need to fill up with things. So I'm just going to play with a few things here to keep your eyes busy while I'm talking. I need to sort these frames. So what that means is if you're doing something on your channel, like a collaboration, and you're interested in having other people participate and you want to get the word out, I'd be really happy to talk about that. Probably I would be interested in collaborating with you. There's one thing I think on YouTube that I wish we were all better at as a whole, and that's collaborating with smaller than us channels, and I like to do that whenever possible, but I feel like I honestly could do better at inviting that into my space, because you know, the more we help each other out as a community, like the bigger and better we all get in the YouTube algorithm, we become more like less of a quiet niche and more of like a trend, right? Like there's a lot of different kinds of craft trends that are on YouTube, such as what's the stitching one? Why am I trying to talk about it and forgetting? Is it floss tube? You know, people who do embroidery, floss tube is a very big hashtag and trend on YouTube. There are hundreds of channels that do floss tubes. You know, and as a YouTube creator, we do get like a newsletter about the things that are trending. And unfortunately, part of like society these days is that the things that are trending are kind of like, you know, pop culture. I think it's always been that way, right? Like pop culture, it's pop culture because it's trending. So it doesn't necessarily appeal to me to do a video on like, you know, flossing, like that dancing. Like, you're not going to see me flossing on this channel. So that being said, let me show you something kind of like what I'm talking about. Okay, so this box, I was lucky enough to attend a workshop in mold making at one of our local scrapbook stores. This one is in Guelph, Ontario, and it's called U, like Y-O-U, Neek Scrapbooking Store, and it's owned by a really lovely couple who live in the Guelph area. And so the deal was, they're called Moldy Days, okay? So you get to come and you get to hang out, and like you pay a workshop fee. Basically you're covering the cost of your resin, and then you just get to play with all of the molds that the owner of the shop has. And of course, you know, she teaches workshops and she has a store, so she's got a really big collection. I'm thinking probably at least 100 molds. And it's nice. You just sit down with a few other people at a nice table in the back of the store, and you just learn to mix and pour resin. Now I'll talk about this, and I'll link Unique below actually, as well as the resin. So the resin that we used is one that they really recommend because it's fast, right? So in my past experience, I've used like different kinds of resin that, you know, requires time. It might require a pressure pot or, you know, certain conditions to harden. And it takes like usually overnight, 24, 48 hours. This one, however, so it dries white. It is from moldputty.com, and it's amazing casting resin. So it's just really great, very easy to use. You get 2 bottles inside, 3 little mixing cups, and 2 stir sticks. So the best way to do it is you set up your 2 bottles, you set 1 cup with each bottle, so you keep those 2 things separate, and a stir stick for each side, and then you buy little like those paper type Dixie cups to mix both parts in. Don't mix in plastic because resin does get hot and it can melt your plastic. So mix in a paper cup. You can use the cups again and again, but if they get goopy, then they recommend, you know, tossing it and starting with a new one. So yeah, this will dry in just maybe, I don't know, a few minutes, like 10 minutes it says, right? It turns white and cures in 10 minutes. I saw it sort of depends on the size of the mold. So this one probably took about 10 minutes. I'll just show them to you as I'm going to box them. So this is this big steampunky owl. And a lot of companies that we're familiar with, like Stamperia, etc., make the molds for, you know, these kind of things. So they're very easy to fit in with any of your journal projects if you're doing a theme. This is a nice big bee. There was even a woman who was doing a whole Alice in Wonderland series. Like there was lots of Alice in Wonderland pieces there. This one I may leave out because I'm probably going to paint that for my upcoming, eventually, my crow journal. So, uh-oh, I hear my son. We'll see if he comes down here. He sounds like he's having an argument with my daughter. Little butterfly, and there's the other crow. So we have these 2 kind of steampunky crows. And then this little frame. Some mushrooms. and a bunch of cogs and things. I'm just gonna go check on my son. I'll be right back. Okay. My children are having a little argument over a toy and my husband's dealing with it. All is well in the world. Okay, so yeah, this is like a really beautiful deer, and you'll see sometimes you get like little tiny bits like that. You can just easily remove them, and these harden up very nice. This is a little postage piece. We also got to play with like some product that was like a soft clay. This is like a really cute label. But the soft clay, I didn't like it actually. This is a little like cicada. Soft clay was kind of crumbly and crackly, and it didn't really seem to fully harden, so I like this stuff much better. This is a doe, a little acorn, and a little mushroom. This is a pine cone, another cicada, a little sun, another ornate label, a more steampunky cicada, a moon, and more postage and a little cog. And then one thing also that we learned about was like you don't have to fill the molds up completely with resin, because you know, if you're putting these on like a book cover, or especially on something like a card, you don't want them to be too thick, because if they're too thick, then you know they'll stand up too much. That's a little light bulb, some wings, another old light bulb. But yeah, you don't want them to have too much bulk if you're going to be putting them on a card. This is like a really fun clock. It's kind of got cogs and stuff on it. And then a little leaf. These beautiful mushrooms. Look at those. More cogs, lights, some more mushrooms. She had all sorts of different stuff, but you know, I kind of had, I think everybody makes like stuff that fits like the themes that they like. I made a few kind of general things like this ornate keyhole. I love these really fun keyholes. A little squirrel. These are little tiny like rosette flowers, cogs, even little tiny clocks. Some more mushrooms, and she had lots of these kind of fantasy Art Nouveau type women, postage stamps. I probably could have just kept on going, although I had to leave a little early because I was having to pick up my daughter. More light bulbs and flowers, fun little keyhole, and then more little bits, leaves, cogs, flowers. You just kind of, you sort of have to plan a little. Like one thing I noticed with the resin, you know, like once you've mixed it, you've got to get it on the mold. Like you can't waste time. Once you add the two parts together, you start stirring right away. And it will turn like a bit of a milky white color, and then it goes back to clear. And then after that, you're good to pour. And then you have, you know, a couple minutes to kind of pour. So it's good to just lay several molds out and kind of plan what you want. And then like you start with the largest thing that you're doing, like say a clock. You pour the resin in the middle and you let it spread, and you can use your stick to kind of pull it out. And then once you've got all the details covered with resin, you're good to go. You don't have to fill the mold up to the top. So yeah, I got all of these bits, lots and lots of stuff here from one of these boxes. And these boxes retail around $36 Canadian. So pretty good price for a lot of nice pieces that I can use on book covers and things, right? So the other thing is try to keep them laying flat. After I left the workshop, I had to just kind of toss the bag in the car. I think I'll be able to probably mold that with a little bit of heat to get it to lay flat again. But the other cool thing with this is actually a benefit of this kind of stuff. So let's say you wanted to put this on a bottle or something. Once you have molded it and it's just about dry, you can actually pull it out probably around like, you know, the 6 to 8 minute, and you can actually shape it and have it go in a way that you want it to, depending on how you're using it. So yeah, that's my kind of like local, interesting, and a fun product share. That if you were already looking for something kind of fun to do, then yeah, do that. It's fun. The other thing I want to share, I might just need a minute. Oh no, they're right here. So this is kind of a shameful self-promotion, but this is from my Patreon. I wanted to share these papers with you. So I shared a technique to do pretty much instantaneous eco-printing. So you can create papers like this eco-printing, and it happens, this effect, this carbonizing effect where the leaves turn black, happens basically immediately. So if you're interested in creating papers like this, you can check out the tutorial on my Patreon. I had a lot of fun doing this. I have a few similar projects coming up in the same kind of vein of this eco-printing leaves. I'm trying to get the last of the printing in before the end of leaf season. So I don't know if what it's like where you live. These are grapes, grapevine. But where I live, it's starting to get a little cooler. This is sumac. I love all of it looks very 3D with all the bends and folds. This is wild raspberry. A big giant maple leaf. This is showing you what both the final effect is, as well as just the printed leaf before the final effect of the carbonization. This is both sides of the leaf. If you've been here for a while, I've talked about the moon side and the sun side of leaves. This is just the leaves printed without being carbonized. So yeah, I got lots of papers, and believe it or not, I did all of this in less than an hour. This one's just kind of messy, but I think it'd be a great background. I just kind of used up some sumac that I had. These are some oak leaves. Mulberry. Not sure, but I love these because they have all these little holes in them. This is beech. So yeah, lots and lots of fun has been had here around the studio. The other thing I'm excited to show you, I found out that Josie Lewis, she is, I guess, collaborating with Brea Reese and made this tactile tool set. And look, I love Josie Lewis. She has her own YouTube channel, which I will link below. And I mean, you've probably heard of her. Goodness knows if you know who I am, you probably have known who she is forever, because she is a really great artist. She works in incredible color. And also I love her whole like personality. She's a very no-nonsense professional artist, and she's one of these people who just, to me, emits all the things that I like about creators or business people who know what their worth is. Like, she's a woman artist, entrepreneur. She understands that she should be paid for her work. She does a lot of really great talking about those subjects, about how to take care of yourself as an artist, in kind of every way, from like self-care and giving yourself time to think and plan and, dip into your own originality, as well as like things like, there's no competition, or, make sure that when you're participating in something, you don't do it for just clout, like you actually get paid, unless there's, you make sure the terms make sense. Don't just give of yourself everything and have nothing left, right? So she's a really great person. And so I'm really excited to use these. I haven't used them yet, so I can't tell you, if they're great or not. But I mean, I've used these kind of things with like, drywall and like scrapers and things. And the picture's pretty clear here. And I like sorry for the gray paint I've been painting. There's 1, 2, 3 different textures, and then like a nice sharp one for both cleaning your surface or, using in different ways. Just be careful with that one if you're jelly plating. But like, she shows you different ways to lay down paint, and then to, work. Like, see, here's she's laid down colors, and she's kind of spreading each one a little thinner with that sharper spreader. And then, you drag this through, and you can get these textured lines. And you can do this on a canvas. I think that's primarily what she's focusing on doing is, you know, creating work on canvas. But I'm thinking of this mainly with, you know, jelly plating, because it just sounds like it would be a lot of fun to me. So yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to share with you. And I think that's all that I really have to share today, other than I did pick up a little bit of, I picked up a little bit of Tim Holtz Christmas because I couldn't not. Let me see if I can find them. They're over here somewhere. I got them. Oh yeah, here they are. Okay. So yeah, I picked up some of the Christmas papers from Ideology. A couple packs of these actually, because I was just like, oh, I'm going to grab a couple, because I do feel like I'm going to do something Christmassy this year. Even though I didn't anticipate that I would do anything Christmas, I might. I don't know. But I want to have a little stash anyways, because I want it to be with it when the feeling strikes that I can do it. They also have the layers and paper dolls that are Christmas. And they look like a really nice selection. So I picked these up again at Unique on the day that I was there for the workshop. I try to go there a little infrequently because it's a dangerous place to go. But yeah, these are really nice paper dolls. You know, if you've seen paper dolls from Tim Holtz before, I do like them. They're lots of fun. And these ones, you know, he's put layers in there too so that you can... oh, and some Santas, and you can, like, you know, create your little vignette with things. It just kind of makes it a little easier for you, like if you're laying something on top of a background, right? Especially if you're doing something in multiples like Christmas cards, like it just kind of helps to make the work of those kind of more utilitarian things that we might do as makers, makes it go a little faster for us. I know most of what I do is kind of like slow work where I'm just like working on a journal that takes me several weeks, but I do still appreciate having things in themes that I work with. So okay, so then in the same vein of like more indie and cross promotion here on YouTube, I'm sure that all of you are very familiar with Natasha from Treasure Books, but I wanted to pick up her book because first of all, she's brilliant, and I mean, she's an OG of the junk journaling world. I totally love her, and I think she shares so much with us for nothing at all, and it's nice to just have a compendium of her great ideas. I think she's a really cool YouTuber. I will link her channel below, but yeah, her book is great. I have only honestly been flipping through it a little bit here and there. I would like to sit down with a cup of tea today, perhaps outside, and kind of just take a look. What I found about this book, found, I'm combining those two words for some reason, is she really kind of starts at the roots, the beginning. You know, why do we do this? Why do we make these books? What is this all about? Repurposing junk. Diving into the world of handmade books, where she talks about what handmade books are defined as versus junk journals, art journals, altered books, scrapbooks, diary, commonplace book, glue book, mini album, smash book, traveler's notebook, and flowish junk journal. And I think she's done a really good job of like talking about how all those things kind of are defined. Because I know for me, getting into the junk journal world, I sort of like was a little overwhelmed with all the terms at first. Like, well, what is a traveler's notebook? What, like, are you just traveling with it? But there's certain things about it, like it has dimensions, and you know, you kind of learn that as you go. I think a lot of junk journaling and really any art like theme or genre rather, like that's how you get there, right? Like you just kind of stumble along and you get better and better. And I know that's true for me. So having kind of, I know not like everyone's brain works the same way. Some people don't feel confident or comfortable at all stumbling along, and I totally get that too. Some people like to have organized kind of directions before they do things. Also, sometimes when we do things, like when I think about you know, using Citrusolve on National Geographics to dissolve the pages pages and make those cool pages. Sometimes it's good to have a pretty well-defined methodology to do that, because, you know, in the video that I made, I shared how, like, this is my first time doing this, and, you know, I watched some things, but, like, I didn't do a ton of research. I wanted to experiment that day, but Citrusolve itself is very expensive, especially in Canada, where it's like $40 for 16 ounces. So yeah, you want to make a plan so that you don't waste product, right? And that's true with a lot of things we use. I mean, a lot of things are expensive these days, so I completely understand wanting to make sure you're doing something right before you jump in. So she also talks about themes, and I thought it was nice because, you know, a lot of people work, like I work really well in themes, but I also like to work without a theme. And I know other people, and I find this in spinning yarn, is some people, they kind of can be a unicorn of anything. Other people, like, they have a very sort of preferred or focused way of working. So it can help you to think about working in a theme, or not. And she gives some really nice themes here. Nature, botanical garden. She talks about how that looks. I'm just going to grab some water, one moment. Guess I could pause, but why? Animals, insects, hobbies, specific era or time period, seasonal. So those are just a few. I won't tell all of them. And then she also talks about styles like shabby chic, steampunk, woodland. There's a few. And then different topics like health and fitness, meditation, inspiration books, reading, why and how to use a junk journal. So that could inspire you to do those letters. I used to put them in my books. I haven't recently, but it's like, you know, how to use this junk journal, kind of a letter from the bookmaker. One other big creator, Pam at the Paper Outpost, I know, I think I first heard that from her, was creating like a bookmaker's note, or the note from the bookmaker. And she even provides in her newsletter, I think, like a free PDF version of what she puts in her books, which again is like really nice. It's a very nice thing to do for people who are thinking like, oh, okay, I've mastered, you know, junk journaling and I'd like to sell my books. I'd like to gift my books. Like, again, there's so much sharing in this community. I think the one thing I'd just like to see a little more of is, like, especially like large creators, the promotion of smaller creators. Because, you know, I see so many small creators that promote the heck out of the large ones, and it would be nice to see like more of that, you know. So I look at myself and think, like, you know, there's this like Maya Angelou quote that's like, you know, if you have power or privilege, like, it's your job to like pass it on or something. And like, I'm a firm believer in that. Like, if I have 2,000 subscribers, then I'm going to support the people that have 500. If I have 10,000, I'm going to still support all, you know, like, hopefully we start to get more and more of that. And not just in the junk journal world, but like in anything. Like, you can literally build Rome in a day for somebody if you're a big creator who shares their work, right? So even if you're a small creator, it doesn't matter. Like, cross-promote, cross-pollinate one another, because like, it's just, honestly, it's like tossing out blessings on everybody, right? Like, so that's just how I think about it. But anyways, she talks about gathering materials, basic supplies. Her list is really good. A basic journal making kit, then things that are optional, and we know that this could be a 50-page book on those things, right? The anatomy of a book, book covers, different options, how to assemble signatures, and paper dyeing techniques. She talks about what a signature is and different ways to do paper dyeing. She talks a little bit about the science of dyeing paper and the quality of dyeing paper. She talks about binding, creative additions and techniques, and we know she's brilliant at all those things, and she's sharing a lot of examples here with us. Talks about like the different kinds of books, repurposing an old hardcover book, using packaging boxes. So she gives you like a series of projects that you can go through. Like, maybe you wanted to make an envelope journal. Well, she shows you how to do that step by step. She even does like some, you know, techniques for ephemera, decoupaging napkins. Yeah, like just there's just so much information in here. And even if you know how to do a lot of this, it's still just nice to have this because, first of all, I think it's nice to just like, you know, I was very, as an art yarn spinner, one of my muses was always Lexi Boger from Plucky Fluff, and she no longer is in that business, but she had a business called pluckyfluff.com, and she was this very giving, and is a very giving, awesome woman named Lexi, and she taught workshops and she wrote books, and it's like, it's nice when somebody can put their life's work, their research, all of that into this book, because, you know, it's like, it sets your place in time. It's sort of like, this is my record in celluloid that I did something and I was an important, you know, person in this, right? And then so many other art yarn spinners popped up after her using all the techniques that she taught us, and over time, right, people would lose the roots of where that all came from. And I'm not saying she created art yarn spinning, even she says I didn't do that, but like, she certainly revolutionized it, and I never want to forget that she was one of those. She was a revolution to me, and I feel the same way in the junk journal world about, you know, a few creators, and there's a lot of them, and yeah, Natasha's one of them, and I just really think it's nice to like recognize her for her contribution to all of this. I'm pretty sure most of us have learned something from her, and I know that we've all learned from someone else, right? So I also think that this is nice because we're able to, how do you find your style? So that's some nice advice too. Like, we're able to kind of, when we talk about cross-pollination, we're also able to inspire and collaborate and share each other's brains. You know, it's really nice. And I think that's like my favorite thing about the community is just, it's like a big family kind of, you know, but like not in the way that you have a work family that's not really a family. So the other book I picked up, it was kind of just on a whim, because when I got this one, it was like, hey, if you like this, then you'll like this, and I can be terribly weak. So I have not heard of Keisha Avery before. I need to do a bunch of research about her because this book looks beautiful. Creative Wanderlust. Unlock your artistic potential through mixed media art journaling techniques. So one thing I do want to try to give myself a little more time for, because I enjoy it, is like getting messy, like getting on the floor like this and just getting messy, getting out things and doing more detailed mixed media. Like, I give myself time for different things in different ways, like ephemera making. You know, I find I make some of my best ephemera in a couple ways. One, when I focus on a particular technique and I kind of mass make, or I take out a specific set of supplies and I work in that for a while. Oops. That's my alarm. So yeah, it's a really nice book. I'm going to sit with it today. There's some things about self-care and art journaling. I love all these studio pictures. It's so nice. I was lucky enough to visit my friend, Mary Ellen from Red Parrot. I will link her below too. Yesterday, because we're doing a little collab, a little secret thing, and it was so nice to visit her and see her finally in person, and see her beautiful workspace and her super adorable cat, Gracie. Yeah, she is a lovely YouTuber, and I recommend you give her a follow because she has a really, really inspiring way of doing things. She's got a very creative brain, and I just love her as a person. She's, yeah, she will click in your world, I think. But all of that being said, I will post a bunch of links to everything I talked about down below, and hopefully you will like these kind of wrap-up videos. You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be here just like, buy this thing, buy this thing, buy this thing every week. I'm not going to do that, I promise. I don't enjoy it, and you wouldn't enjoy it, and I know that. And again, this is more about cross-pollinating. So if you are someone who's doing something cool, either on YouTube or on another platform, like you have a hashtag you want to share and you just want to kind of get the word out to the creative community, I'd be happy to help. You know, I'm not huge, but I'm not tiny. I have an impact. We all do. So I'd be interested. So send it to me. I'll put my contact details down below. You can shoot me a message on Instagram. I'm Studioloo there too. You can leave me a comment on this video, or you can send me an email at Cindy, C-I-N-D-Y, at studioloo.com, and I will respond in all those ways. I'll post links down below to my social media and my email. Also, if you're a digital creator or you're an independent maker or retailer in the junk journal world, I'd be totally happy to, you know, put out your events or your products, like just to share it with everybody, so that we can all promote one another. Because I know for me, I watch a lot of those kind of videos when something sparks my interest. Like I used to love when Gail Agostinelli did her Sunday videos, where she would do Etsy shares. I really enjoyed watching those because, you know, I didn't feel compelled when I watched those videos to be like, oh, I gotta buy that, I gotta buy it. Like it wasn't like that. I just liked seeing the different kind of creative things going on in the community, learning about new shops, because I don't see these creators like as shops, right? I think like, oh, okay, treasure bookmaking. Oh, she has a shop. Cool. I see what I like. Like if I saw these books being shown or a digital kit or something, I'd go look for her Instagram or her YouTube channel, and I'd try to like connect and kind of get to know her work. And it would be a part of like my creative watching. Like I do a lot of creative watching when I'm making things. So it's kind of, it becomes more cultured in your world, right? So I think the more you fill your space with the people in those kind of seats that inspire you, like the more inspired and creative your output is. So like, don't look at it as like advertising. Look at it as like, oh, you know, hey, this person has like a digital kit with cats, and oh, you know what? I wanted to make a cat journal for my friend, and like it's nice to have those intersections that make your life easy when you want to make a certain thing, and you don't have to just hunt down materials and things. And like, you know, sometimes I learn about certain things that like just revolutionize my life in certain ways, like a certain kind of scissors or something, like, you know, for fussy cutting that'll make it a lot easier on my hands, you know, because I think one thing that is nice to share as creators too are like our struggles and where we've made mistakes or where we've experienced things like pain from, you know, doing too much guillotining like I have done, and made my bicep a little grouchy. Yeah, so it's like stuff like that, I think, that connect us all. So if you are of those ilk of people, if you want to share and collaborate with me, I just want to say my doors are open, and I would so love to meet you, and I'd love to collab with you, and I just think it's a lot of fun to be part of everything here. So that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will talk again very soon. Thank you for being here, and until next time, let me know your thoughts on these videos. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, bye!